Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports Talk. We're your hosts, Jared and TJ. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Lamar's contract for the 9,000th time, feels like, even though we only have 10 videos. But this isn't directly about anything that the Ravens offered him or, like anything that's been offered to him recently. This is actually about the way Jalen Hurts' new contract affects Lamar's possible money and future with the Ravens. And I believe you have contract details pulled up on your phone to explain to everybody.
Yeah, so I actually have two tweets. I have one from Sarah Ellison and one from Ian Rappaport. And the one from Sarah Ellison is kind of like it's sort of just like a side-by-side comparison, in terms of the total value of both contracts, the fully guaranteed at signing and the total guaranteed in general. And so Jalen Hurts, total value of his contract was 255 million, and the contract that the Ravens offered Lamar was 250 million. The full guaranteed money at signing for Jalen Hurts was 110 million, and for Lamar it was 133 million. Total guarantees in general for Jalen Hurts was 179.3 million, and for Lamar it was 200 million. So, as you can see from those numbers, you could say that, the Ravens gave Lamar a pretty fair deal. I mean, a pretty favorable deal. And,
Right.
I also have another tweet from Ian Rappaport that just goes a little bit more in depth. Um, it says that Jalen Hurts was has 179.3 million guaranteed for injury, and Lamar had 175 million guaranteed for injury. And that 175 million could become 200 million for skill. It says in this Ian Rappaport tweet. And yeah, that's basically it for the two tweets. So, kind of like how I mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, we could see that, the Ravens really have been trying, this whole time to give Lamar, a deal and, a deal that they would think that he would like, in terms
Mhm.
of, in the quarterback market. And it's honestly kind of surprising and to see, this deal stacked up against another top QB deal, for the longest time, it feels like, you know, there's been so many opinions, oh yeah, the Ravens are lowballing Lamar. He deserves this, he deserves that. But now we get to truly see, how the Ravens, projected offer stacks up against an already massive completed deal. And, as you can see by the numbers I just read off, the Ravens are really trying. And, it kind of makes you think, it kind of brings back the topic in question, is Lamar sabotaging his own money? Now that we get to see it side by side. So, like how all of us Ravens fans are, I'm hoping that, we can come to a deal, but it truly is interesting how Lamar's deal is still, you know, just the same as, but even a little bit more better than Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's just interesting to see.
Right. And, I think me and you texted about this earlier, like honestly, one of them has to settle, the Ravens or, Lamar, whether it's the Ravens saying, forget it, let's just give him this money and call it quits, like we're just gonna have to deal with it. Or Lamar's just gonna have to be like, I'm not gonna get more than what I'm getting offered here, especially by not other franchises, because I mean, let's be real, unless a team gets hella desperate, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I mean, anything's possible till it isn't anymore. But like, unless this doesn't seem like these teams are desperate for Lamar, they're willing to, draft a quarterback or rock with the one they got, even though Lamar is probably better than all the ones that they're going to have. It's just they don't want to take on that money because you trade from that's step one, but step two is going to have to try to convince him, to take less money, and that might piss him off even more. Not, well, I'm not saying he's pissed off, but it's just that might piss him off being traded to a new team and having them, let's just say like for example, we trade him to I don't know the Commanders or even the 49ers, a team to look out for. I would say because they always have quarterback trouble, but they're a quarterback away from being the best team in the league sometimes. But you know he might get traded to them, and then they might be like, all right, well, we're not going to offer you this. We're going to offer you this. We're not going to offer you what you want. We're going to offer you what we think, is going to be good for us and the team. And then he might get pissed off, and then like he might be like, well, I should have stayed in Baltimore. I would have made more money. And I mean, that's the argument for everybody who like saying he needs an agent or whatever. And I don't. I'm on the fence with that just because like without an agent, he would have possibly gotten, the second highest paid contract in NFL history. So it's not like he's dumb and he's not getting anything. It's not like he's getting lowballed by the Ravens. The Ravens have offered him a really good contract. It's just he hasn't accepted it. So I think what's important here is, as a Ravens fan, is just to know that one of them is going to have to settle, whether it's the Ravens or Lamar, and that's just how it's going to have to be. And there's the one thing I'm nervous about is, like, what if Lamar feels like he's just, he gets pissed that he has to settle, and because I know me personally, I mean, obviously I'm not dealing with. I've never signed a $200 million contract in my life. If I did, we'd be in our own studio. but but for me, I don't like to settle for anything. I'm not a person who settles for something. And if I have to settle for something, it might irritate me while I'm doing the certain thing that I have to settle for. So that's the one thing I'm worried about when it comes to Lamar and this contract, when it comes to possibly him settling. But yeah, I mean, we got him a new offensive coordinator. We got him OBJ. Did you hear about the report that said, like, get DeAndre Hopkins, get Odell Beckham, and then we'll talk? And if you have heard about that, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that's true? Do you think there's like any, that's solid evidence behind that?
Well, it's funny because I was actually talking to a coworker about this at my job the other day. I feel like it is true, and I feel like, and I kind of hope it is true because, you know, as we said in previous videos, and even in real life too, Lamar has been a lot more outspoken this
Right,
offseason when it comes to, people talking against him. And so, that would show him being outspoken, against the Ravens, truly saying to him, hey, this is what we need. This is what I need to really shine out here. I need DeAndre Hopkins. I need Odell. Now, obviously, getting both of them is a little bit difficult, because of the Ravens cap situation. Also, we got to get Lamar, but
right,
you know, I do feel like there's truth to that. And I mean, I'm actually proud by how the Ravens responded. I mean, we got
right,
Odell. I mean, we got one of them, so I feel like I was hoping that, that would persuade Lamar to, you know, just come in and join because, this was before I heard that, Odell wasn't guaranteed Lamar was going to be on the team, when he
right.
signed. So that was before that came out. But I think there's some truth to that. I think Lamar really did say that, that was him being aware of the shortcomings when it comes to wide receiver and his help. So,
Right. I mean, it wouldn't be too far fetched to think about, because he is the one who influenced the drafting of Hollywood Brown, back in 2019. So it's not going to be something that would be like, oh, that's out of Lamar's character. It's just the only thing that would be surprising is that it got out there. So
mm,
I know usually you don't like to trust Lamar news. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm happy he did that because, you know, it's not ironic that they signed Aguilar and then he asked for a trade 2 days later. So, or announced that he asked for a trade. So he might have just been like, that might have been it would just be like a wild twist if, this whole contract, situation is because, he wants them to get Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins. And wouldn't that just be crazy?
yeah.
And it's not even just about like he said, I'll accept this contract, but I want you to do this first. So
Mm.
that's why he's like hasn't signed the tag. He hasn't did any of that. So like it's just, I mean, getting DeAndre Hopkins would probably be a Ravens fever dream. I mean, I did it in Madden, so I mean, I guess it's possible. It's happened in some
Right.
universe that I created, but no, in all seriousness, um, getting those two, and maybe drafting a receiver as well would just be that'd be spectacular, wouldn't it? Like I
I
feel like
mean,
you can
that
go ahead.
I'm just had to say that would be the best Ravens receiving core ever. Like maybe since like 2012 or 2010. That would be
Right.
number one Ravens best receiving core of all time. But continue.
I was just gonna say, like, just imagine, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, or Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devin Duvernay, and Nelson Aguilar. Like, that's just it makes you happy. It makes you like it just the a nice clean way of saying that.
See, you're
It was
smiling
just
right
like
now. You're happy just thinking about it. So yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it is like it would be the greatest receiving core, like you said, since 2012. Because if you think about 2012, you had Anquan. He's a go up and get a guy. Torrey Smith, a good go route speed, nice agility, and then you had Jacoby Jones, who like he was just a good wide receiver three.
Mhm.
Like I feel like the current Ravens would try to put Jacoby Jones as wide receiver one, you know,
Yeah, you can't do that.
and
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can't
do
do that.
that. He's
Yeah.
good, but he's sneaky good. He's not like
Hmm.
amazing. Like Jacoby Jones didn't make these outlandish catches besides the one in Denver, but that wasn't even really outlandish. That was just put in the bread basket with the catch.
That was yep,
But
yep.
did I say Atlanta? I meant Denver.
You said Denver.
I thought I said Atlanta. I don't know why I said Atlanta, but or I thought I said Atlanta. But anyway, so yeah, just having OBJ, like it's almost kind of both like a go route guy and just one of them nasty route runners, shifty guys, and then DeAndre Hopkins is a go up and get it guy. You got Bateman, who's kind of in the middle of both, where he can be a go and get it guy, but he's also very crafty when it comes to his route running as well. And then same thing with Duvernay, he's kind of a go and get it guy as well. So you just have like a very variety amount of you know options at wide receiver, in a certain moments. Like, oh, you need a red zone guy, throw it to DeAndre Hopkins. You need a good first down on a nice nasty route, give it to Odell Beckham. You need
Mhm.
something a bit of both, give it to Bateman. So um, it would just be beautiful to see that. I think that would instantly put us in the favorites to win the Super Bowl if we get. I mean, getting Odell Beckham is probably putting us enough to get into the Super Bowl favorites, but signing Lamar and then getting DeAndre Hopkins would just be, something.
Dynamic.
I know
Dynamic.
that would be insane. That would just be. It would make up for all those years, especially if we won the Super Bowl.
I
If
know.
we won the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, it would just make up for everything. But so yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything, unless you have anything to bring up,
No, it's
question
just
or
funny
anything.
because you know, you could just have me imagine if we did have all those receivers. Like it just makes me happy just thinking about it. But if we did get DeAndre Hopkins or resign Lamar, I would want it to last. And I feel like that
Right,
would be the biggest concern is will it last?
right,
Because obviously guys like D Hop and Odell, they will most likely be signed to 1 year deals. They will want to get paid after that again, most likely.
right.
And the Ravens still have other, obligations to fill. Maybe they, they'll want to resign Patrick Queen again, maybe. Maybe
I think he's gone.
a corner. Yeah, I'm just saying, but maybe a corner breaks out, they want to give him a better deal. It's just so many possibilities. So
Right,
I would just be concerned about keeping all those guys together because the Ravens have a bad track history of keeping teams together. Really, we saw after the Super Bowl, we lost 10 plus guys basically of our top
right.
guys. So
You let
I'll be
Anquan
my only
Walden,
concern. Yeah,
you trade Anquan, you know, and then Jacoby Jones gets hurt. Like, I think he gets like hurt in the first game of the season that year.
yeah,
So you're already down two receivers. So you really only have Torrey Smith, and then Dennis Pitta was hurt as well. He didn't come back till like late in that season. A
yeah,
lot of people forget about that. And we've had, just thinking about, we've had a lot of good tight ends. From Heap to Pitta, to we had that weird period where we didn't really have one, but then we got Andrews. So like we've had some pretty good, and then Shannon Sharp even before Heap. So it's like we've had pretty good tight ends, in
yeah.
Ravens history. That's
Mm-hmm.
something we can do well is on offense when it comes to a pass catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And is develop tight ends very well. But like I said, I think we've pretty much covered everything, unless there's anything that you forgot or anything, any questions you want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said a question for me. I don't know if you forgot.
No, that was for the Orioles.
Oh, so okay, yeah, okay. So that's not
You
even part of
forgot.
this video. No, I thought you said Ravens. I thought you said Ravens and Orioles, not just Orioles. Because I heard the
Oh no,
Orioles
no.
part. I just thought it was Ravens. Anyway, so
Okay.
I think we covered everything. It's just a little quick video. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I finally linked all of our social medias in the bottom. So I finally did all that, and we're gonna start posting on TikTok soon as well. I know it says
Yes.
follow our TikTok, but we have no followers on there, and we haven't posted anything. So
Yes.
we're gonna post on there. We post on our Twitter. Usually about like our video updates. Same thing with Instagram, but we're gonna try to start seeing like what kind of content we can share on our Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and stuff, and just to make us more of a reliable source, I guess. But
Yeah, and vlogs too. We're gonna do in-game vlogs too. Try to
right,
record videos too. Show you guys that we're having fun at these games just like
yeah.
everybody else. So yeah.
Yep. So I think we have a few things for the A's game, and then we're going to the Nationals game tomorrow. So
Ooh,
we're gonna take some pictures
Mount
there.
Castle. Yeah,
Yeah. So hopefully he has another 9 RBI game.
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm just gonna ask you one last time. Any last thoughts?
No, we said everything.
All right. Well, more birds of prey signing out.